Truly with spirit of matter. And we got, whoa, what 4 degrees? We have 11th degree ascendant, which is degree of suicide, but also electricity and stuff. And Jupiter that rules it is also on the 11th degree, 11, 11. So this is funny, just noting. And the midheaven is also ruled by Jupiter, but is 18 degree of poison. Nothing on the 22nd. Fortunately, this is Mars day, Mars night, Mars hour. It's basically Saturn night right now. And we are through the Mars-Uranus Beta Persei conjunction. So because we are still in the thrones of the Mars-Uranus Beta Persei, or Algol, or Medusa Gorgon, and the moon is in 26 degrees Scorpio, really pinpointing that was a great time for magic. Anything that you need, as Lada said, to cut off, great protective magics, powerful protective magic, when you have to protect yourself by bodies upon bodies upon bodies upon bodies of those who, practice human sacrifice or do war crimes or the war rapes or all these things. Excellent time to do, death magics to those who try to do death magic on you and all that kind of ooey gooey stuff. And it's also a great time to tend to the topic of political assassination. So today I'm going to talk about Lilith, downloads I am receiving about Lilith towards the Lilith-infused eclipse. I'm going to talk about political assassination and political, how to locate it, the relevance. It's not a water expand upon cooling episode, but I'm just going to begin to address the topic and begin to address the possible remediation on a personal and interpersonal level. Might take a look at Trump's chart. Yes, so there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in the sky as well. So to call on supportive energy, I just want to check with you if Algol is on the minima. If Algol is on the minima, so we are... No, Algol is not on the minima. Excellent. So tomorrow Algol is on the minima. Right now we're pretty safe. So all the rituals you want to do with Algol magic, Mars, Uranus, cutting away things on a mass level, okay? If you have, think about mass assassination. Excellent, okay, to cut this off, poisoning, cut this off, people who tend to cause like mass suicide, cut this off, all these things. Excellent. So I'm going to call on Procyon because the sun is in 24 degrees Cancer. So let's call on Procyon. And for Procyon, we call to sweeten things for denucleafication, sweetening conflicts, okay? Tending to what needs to be changed from within so that we're no longer susceptible to any form of oppression. Okay, so to sweeten and to alter of where we are also oppressive towards ourselves and to allow ourselves out of these patterns, as well as to be favored and so on, and all the beautiful Procyon things, all good things. So I'm going to also call on Andromeda, which governs both Chiron and Aries right now. And Andromeda constellation is fantastic for reconciliation. Reconciliation, again, sweetening of conflicts, but here it's reconciliation, releasing of hostages or people who are held hostage, whether politically or not. Release from situations of people or targeted individuals that are targeted for torture or tortured individuals or the practice of torture, okay? So reconciliation and if we have individuals that have been forced to practice these practices for whichever reason, so calling on Andromeda and Procyon for to sweeten, whether it's to sweeten the verdict or to sweeten the situation, to release yourself and to release others from a situation of torture, kidnapping, but also cheating. Okay, it is a great remedy for betrayal, and all the betrayal feelings that can arise, because most of the torture that's done around people is involving the concept of betrayal and the wound of betrayal. So healing the wound of betrayal. So calling on Andromeda to heal the wound of betrayal, and to release from situations where people have to betray one another. Great for reconciliation. And with Aries is to reconcile inwards those who are marginalized without sacrificing ourselves, because this is Aries tropically. So this is good things to call upon. Of course, Adeneb Algedy. I'm going to also, with inspiration of Christopher Warnock, artistry and magic, I'm going to call on Cygnus. And Cygnus is a constellation, I believe, in Aquarius. We have Deneb Aldije, not Deneb Algedy. And this is a constellation for where you want to be loved, to have health, to be receiving all good things. So if you want to check Christopher Warnock's Cygnus talisman, I've had powerful experience just looking at it. So I highly recommend, if you know a word or two about magic, check if this energy is compatible to you. Not getting dividends for that. I'm open to getting dividends for that. And definitely in the future purchase this talisman for myself. So this is another energy I want to call on to support this episode, as we are talking about really deep shit, okay? First things, I want to actually start with Lilith. Lilith is right now in Libra. She will be involved in this coming October eclipse with Ketu. And I have been receiving a ton of Lilith downloads and experience and healing myself that is around my own personal life, energies that I'm coming into contact with by the merit of my job, okay, for doing these episodes, being called to do things, and the powerful healing around themes of raw sexuality, sexual expressions, taboos around sexuality, recovering of the sexuality, recovering of the raw energies of the I am, which is very Lilith. I have Lilith. I have true Lilith in Aries and Lilith in Black Moon Lilith in Pisces and White Moon Lilith in Virgo. So first of all, let's name the Liliths. Okay, we have Lilith asteroid. We have Black Moon Lilith. Black Moon Lilith, which you usually see here. We have True Lilith, which is H13 when you put asteroids. That would be H13. Okay, it is a point. And this is the one that Tom Jacobs works with. If you know his great work with Lilith, I know he's having a retreat. So you're going to have to get the preliminary teaching, and then you can go to the retreat if you like it. Again, I'm open to dividends. I don't currently get, but you can say you got there from me if you choose to register. So this is another great source to work with Lilith. And then there is White Moon Lilith. And I thank actually Molly McCord for talking about White Moon Lilith. And Molly McCord is a name I haven't said in a while. So I totally recommend for you to check her out. She's doing intuitive astrology, which her strong emphasis on channeling, which I love seeing. Okay, I love seeing both kind of the cognitive and, in spirit and in matter intermixed. Me with my fifth lunar mention, a lot of spirit. And so white moon Lilith. So if asteroid Lilith, I have to admit I haven't looked deeper into. Black moon Lilith, I have seen her involved with coming into inquiry of the raw sexual, what's undermine, not undermining, underline the sexual, raw sexual desires. So exploring taboo fantasies, but exploration that is intuitive, that is supporting of the human nature, or in an environment where you're supported to do so, and the place for you, the legitimacy for you to experience your sexual experiences on the wide range of sexual experiences. Okay, so wherever your Lilith is, this is where there's a calling to be yourself sexually. You know, just like when we talk about LGBTQ, or what we talk about kinky society, then these societies are more aware of the I am that is associated with a sexuality. Okay, what have in kinky societies, as people say, I'm sub, I'm dom, I'm this, I'm that, I'm little, I'm father or dad or daddy, where there is LGBTQ, okay, bisexual, pansexual, panerotic, panromantic, aromantic, asexual, okay, all of those things, but not just in relation to identity, but in relation to experience. Get to know your sexual self and have a legitimacy to be your own sexual self, okay? So, of course, safely, consensually, and so on. And this is a part of why Lilith is experiencing such difficulty in structures or cultures or cults where it's not a place for a human being to be who they are. And that is the strong point. And then true Lilith pertains to kind of like very much the same thing. Tom Jacobs defines the true Lilith as you wouldn't ask a sex doll what a woman is like, and the true Lilith gives us the what a woman is like. Yes, and I think is still the experience very similar for me to the Black Moon Lilith. I haven't managed to like distinct between the two. If I'll receive channeling around that, our experiences around that, I will surely tell you. The White Moon Lilith is where we get our healing and nourishment from. The White Moon Lilith is where we have healing sexual experiences. It's not only sex, it is the energy and essentially the to be who you are. When it comes to relational right now, for example, Black Moon Lilith is in Libra. So Black Moon Lilith in Libra would explore being equal in relationships. What does it mean? Okay, and Libra is our court system. Libra is finances. Libra is beauty and beauty standards. Libra is okay, the way we think about relations, okay, how we relate, how we balance things in human relations. Lilith calls to explore these things. And the White Moon Lilith, that would be more like the healings. Where do you get your medicine, your recovery from? So you can look at all of those in your chart. For the White Moon Lilith, I owe you the number to put on like astro.com or AstroSeek. So as per Lilith, I have been receiving a lot of healing experiences around Lilith, but also deep understandings of the energies. And that is where the way she comes up both in our natal chart and in synastries right now, because the eclipses, we are still in the throes of the eclipses, and it's safe to say we are entering the shade of the October eclipse with Lilith. So we are purging a lot of sexual trauma. Purging a lot of sexual trauma. And this is the Venus and Mars, okay? Penis and vagina, simply put, okay? All the traumas, all of what we have around these things, how we think about these things, how we think about sex, about gender, about sexual desires, about sexual experiences, about our mind and our bodies. Both Libra and Aries are very mind oriented, about our thoughts, our desires, the hidden facets. We are purging a lot of junk to do with that. And we are also moving away from Lilith-centered themes. But before we are moving away, we have an eclipse that's associated with events that are to be purged. And that means that all of our Lilith synastries are very, very loud. I've been feeling that in the couple of months. And the more I get into that, it's the deeper, it's like a whole new planet that you study, okay? So there's just a lot of deeper understandings of the inner erotic chemistry and desires and undertones between people. Lilith is very important when we talk about our charisma. So Lilith is prominent with people who have a big sexual charisma, as a natal Lilith in my first and second. I can say that that's something that you see very early on, and the native has to protect themselves and their energy. And it's something that, as I'm talking to you, I'm delineating. So if you have a prominent Lilith, you very likely have to protect yourself and your energy. People can have sexual fantasies around people, and it's normal. Then there are people who might try to do like other things to get to your energy, and this is from infancy. So it's not only Lilith, but that's something actually to discuss. I have been receiving things that I don't know exactly what to connect to. I'm going to let them be, which I think are also Lilith related, about the connection between the praxis of expandable children within satanic ritual abuse and the development of what we call pedophilia, but also the healing for the satanic ritual abuse is the healing of what we call pedophilia. And because this is very initial, I can only say I've received certain things in energy. For where people are allowed to have the space for themselves, they can allow for to give the space to others to be and to grow sexually. So there's a difference of when you look at children, for example, or when you look at a child or teenagers, then there's a difference between for when you notice, hey, this person is just exploring their sexuality, and you just bypass or you don't even notice that, you let them be and you let them grow. For another thing is where people don't have the space for the self, then that's okay for dealing recovery from violation of the self. Then a part of what we call deed or dissociation can arise, okay, with the conjoining of dissociation and sexuality can give for unusual types of arousal, and unfortunately pedophilia is one of them, and sexuality is unhealthy to other people is one of them. But again, when a person begins to receive the unity of identity and the unity of a space to be within the body, within the energy, then this is where they can receive healing for these tendencies, so they don't become pedophile, but they recover from the lineage where perhaps ancestrally there was practice of or thoughts, okay, sometimes no practice of these things. So I don't know if to connect it with Lilith or not, but definitely to me is Black Moon Lilith in my 8th house. Absolutely, we had it in our lineage, and certain things that I know, and of course certain things that I don't know. And I am tending to healing ancestral wounds and healing the lineage around that. I'm a survivor of attempts to kidnap me through satanic ritual abuse. Now I know it as adult. I have the more full picture through the medical system. And so now I understand it more, and those attempts are also psychic, not just physical. And they target people for to think of what the bloodline is or what they think the bloodline is in this way. Unfortunately, I'm here, I'm alive, I'm able to talk. But this is also when we talk about recovery, we talk about war or war crimes, or recovery from situations where children are taught to both raped and were taught to rape and torture other children. That is the expandable children. Because I'm tending to it, so I'm also receiving the channelings that are associated. This is also associated to the Moon Mars beta per se. When we talk about abolishing expandable children, we also need the recovery, the healing, so these children don't become pedophiles and don't perpetuate torture, and also not become victims, so they have a space to be. This is very energy channeling. If you are in any way related to this topic, then setting the intention. And that's a topic I didn't think I will talk about today, but this is some practices where you set the intention. You can put even a glass of water or a candle or maybe some money, and you say, put it in a place where you say, put it in reverence of, and you set your intention, okay, in reverence of for the expandable children that died, and for to receive solutions, for to receive healing for our times, okay. And you set the intention, and these things arrive, and it's miraculous. But also, yes, when you set the intention to defend yourself, all those teachings arrive as well. Yes, when I tended to political assassination, and I'm very likely I'm going to talk about it in spite of myself, as I generally do. And when I tended to political assassination, I had to sage the fucking energy, like psychically sage the fuck of everything, to open the channel to talk about this. So we had Lilith, okay, we talked about Lilith. We even talked about more than that. And now I want to, yes, I want to talk about Donald Trump's chart. I'm going to open his chart right now. I know that this has been a hot topic, and everybody were like, yeah, Donald Trump is maybe going to, people might even believe that he will get assassinated. And I want to talk a little bit about our own astrological discourse, because I think there's a place to talk about everything. There's a place to talk about everything, and we need to talk about, as much as we can, everything, okay? I am one of the greatest advocates for whistleblowers, for speaking the truth, Okay, if a chart is out there publicly, no reason not to discuss. Is also remembering that all of our public personas essentially are the expandable children that they didn't manage to kill. This is what it's done, okay? They put them as childhood to intense, to holocausts. And only those who manage to kill everybody else and survive are becoming leaders or in people in certain positions, even musicians, actors, okay? And for more about this, you want to hear and bring together informations of Jaguar Wright, of Anneke Lucas, of the Imagination podcast, great Emma, that also helps people, testimonials, okay, of SRA survivors, satanic ritual abuse survivors, and the connection to the financial system. And that would be the go-to person would, of course, be Ronald Bernard. And so bringing it all together and understanding that financially everybody cuts dividends to the church. This is something that Bernard was not talking about, or maybe was not exposed to in his line of practice. But this is also to remind us that the Inquisition institutions are basically not dismantled, and that's a great problem that we have. So we will not put our rage, our rightful rage, on for those expandable children, but rather talk about expandable children as a practice that we want to abolish. Yes, let's talk about the fear of beheading, or the fear of this, or the fear of that, or fear of that. And so I've seen respectful videos done before the attempts to assassinate Trump on his possible assassination. I've seen respectful stuff, and I've seen other, just when we address political figures, okay, some journalistic, I think, respect as humans to humans is in place. And we all have various cultures and various ways to show respect. But I think it is important for those of you who do that, important to keep in mind that yes, we promote our channels by looking and study astrology ourselves by looking at the charts that are out there. But it's also important that those charts are of real people living real life and so on. So yeah, we're talking about the natal chart, of course, and I'm talking about the chart for Donald Trump. And we have accurate birth time, looks pretty accurate to me. So this is a chart I've looked at before. I said that Donald Trump is an eclipse child, okay, which means, actually, Marin Altman said it. She talked about, she's also eclipse child. She openly talks about the experience of being a very tight orb eclipse child, which you were born right on eclipse. And this gives so much sense of fatedness to the person's life that they might also feel like they don't have a choice. You can check my Donald Trump video that I did before the assassination attempt. And the Ascendant 29 tells me that he already knows things. He's receiving premonitions about his life. It's a different life experience. Okay, there's a lot more to. I'm quoting Marin Altman, the Amor Fati. Okay, it's like love your destiny. This is an approach that's very compatible with eclipse children because it's a different type of existence. I'm a pre-eclipse child, but a wider orb. And so I just want to address this. And because I know the Trump knows, okay, because I know the Trump knows, I feel comfortable to talk about this chart where the 22 degrees sun is conjoined with Rahu, But I also want to refer you to my 22 degrees teachings episode of water expands upon cooling. Oh, it was a separate episode. I have a 22-degree teaching. So please, before you check your chart, don't I? Hello, Mozart. Okay, we're going to talk about that. Hello there. Come here. Come, Leafy. Oh. Yes. This is so monotonous, I can't even. Before we're going to talk about the Sun 22 and the fated connection to Rahu here in Gemini, ruled by a Mercury, vertex 22, Mercury in the 12th house in Cancer. Now, if this was not eclipse child, I would say remedies, but because it's eclipse child, I know that Trump knows he doesn't need me for that. What I want to remember, if you have planets on the 22, we all have expiration date. To kill and to be killed, the degree of murder can also be depending on the constellation and the planets about. It can also be, for example, let's say in end of your life, you have a terminal disease and you decide that you don't want to prolong your life and you have to register. There's paperwork to do with that. And then you're being offered death with dignity. Okay? And so that can simply be that, although you might see it with the 11th, there's somebody has to put, whether it's 18 degree or put poison you, or 22 degree to supposedly assassinate, okay, not supposedly, to kill you. So you might also see it under the murder degree. Then there are actual murders. There are all kinds of ways to die, okay? Yitzhak Rabin, he was shot, I think, 3 times. We know it's Luciferian work for the number, how they use the number in his back. And he died within hours, okay? There are, I'm not going to give you other types of stuff, but this is, I will have a whole more teachings on the 22nd degree, and a part of them I'm going to address now in the political assassination and political assassination prevention. So we die, okay? We have an expiration date. Even if we are Walt Disney, then we defreeze ourselves after 100 years, okay? We still have that, okay? We want maybe to touch eternity or not, but that's just one of the possible deaths, and doesn't necessarily mean it's better or worse than other types of death. So let's just have a little moment of radical acceptance of death and honoring of death and honoring of the dead of the 22 and of the mediumship. So Sun to the 22 conjoining Rahu is given fated murder. The timing, that depends. Right now, I have to admit, we are not in a situation that overly perfects that, okay? For our eclipses, they do target his Mercury because of the X, okay? The eclipses we have in Aries and Libra also pinpoint the Capricorn and Cancer, and it's very likely that there was something touching on his vertex, okay? And for this vertex is on 22nd degree, which also giving fated events. So lots of fated events. And you saw that the bullet went through his ear, which basically is Mercury. Okay. And his moon with Ketu. So first of all, much health to Donald Van Trump. I am half Dutch, so he gave us a lot of inspirations. And then now he got something Dutch back. Okay. This is not delineation of the attempt, it's just, the ear. So, yes, much health to him. I think he's pretty used to that because, as we know, all of our leaders are the expendable children they didn't manage to kill. So that's not what scares him. Okay, that's not what gets him. Now, this one is a very interesting one because the closest outer planet is Uranus. And this tells me that there is something to do with revolution. Maybe even religious revolution, because Uranus is trining this Jupiter here and Chiron in Libra. But what is being triggered all at once here is the eclipse point, the 22nd degree, and revolution. And we now have Uranus on his midheaven with Mars, which was around the time where the attempt perfected, but we are also in the shade of eclipses. So again, people predicted that there would be assassination attempt for Mars Uranus on Algol, and there was. So I haven't logged on Twitter or X yet. I don't. So many things at once. But now that Mars has crossed the point for this time, going to be 2 more times. We're going to run into that. So now is a little more flexible and it's beginning to release for this. But right now, the moon is really perfecting that, which is a great time to record this episode. In general, it's giving revolution. I also want to address on a general level, not left, right, don't get political on me. It's not about character assassination. It's about mentioning a practice that's practiced all across the board. Okay, so all the disclaimers ahead. One of the tools in which people are tortured in the expandable children practice, the way in which this happens is that there are divisions like by bloodline, and so certain people that are expandable children come to meet other people. They don't know. First of all, they have a couple of personalities. They're tortured and don't always remember, and so on. And secondly, they don't know that the people who torture them are also expandable children. Not everybody knows. Okay. In the case of Lars for the robber bank, what David Icke exposed, Lars knew that for the people. He named names, but it's not, the question is not the names, because it's all of the public personas go through this. But he knew that the people who tortured him were also tortured. Mostly, they don't know. Okay? And that is something we need to keep in mind. One of the methods in which are used for torture is electric shock. Uranus Gemini is given electric shock. So this tells me that it's not impossible that what the fated events to do with assassination in his life, and he may have also had to murder people by electric shock. And this again, fated. Okay, so it's not about, we are not at court here. We are trying to understand the phenomena in order to tend to it so that we can have freedom for children and so on, and avoid assassinations or political assassinations. So this is not the courtroom, but rather where we look at the phenomena and we try to understand what governs the phenomena. How can we remediate the phenomena? Okay, that's the approach. It should be also the juristic approach, but this is for the perspective. It's very important So all the disclaimers are in place. And so it can be connected with those events where they try to shock him. Okay. Yes, in this case, it was definitely the Marcel goal. Mars is a gunshot. Yes, the Uranus is that sort of like rebellious streak. But here is very likely to do with electrocution effect or shock effect. And that is just something kind of to keep in mind. And so what I predict is that the same people who practice the expandable children, that practice expandable people, okay, they also practice expandable leaders. And this is the show that we have seen here. Okay. So to have, and the way that he went through this is public, because this is 11th house, but his ear has suffered for what the trauma was of the assassination. I think it was his right ear, which also, there's the left, right, which is also the moon and the sun, but I don't want to go there. So that is the story, okay, the story for that event. And it's triggered both by the moon and by the shade of the eclipses. So I'm not going to go to the exact moment. Okay, if we knew that something might happen, but just to address the related general theme. Now is the question: when we talk about political assassination, first of all, what do I look at when I look at this topic? You want to see, as with everything in astrology, you want to locate the who, where, what, how. Very much like journalism, except that you look here and you see where are the things that could pinpoint to such event. Right now, I'm working on the 22nd degree, as per Nicola Stojanovic. 18 degree can also be. 11 degree is usually self-mord or electrocution or something like that. And you want to look what planet, okay? You want to look what house. So in this case, it's the sun, which rules the ascendant, which means the person themselves, okay? Can also be the father. Sun is also be the father. And then you look what house, in this case, 11th house, so I understand is a public assassination. And I'm going to throw it here. In Netherlands, we have Geert Wilders, and he is going through assassination threats for 20 years, almost daily, which I suspect to be involved third house there. I have prediction exactly what, but this is where, hey, nobody talks about this in large media, nobody stops the world, nobody makes sure that doesn't happen again, nobody goes worldwide to check who did that person. It's very local treated, and you just have to like face it as if it's daily life. Again, expandable children, expandable people, and trying to tempt expandable leaders. Well, it's not your time, it's not your time. Okay? Here we see 11th house, which means this is a big show. It's public, it's very publicly known. Not just publicly known that he is in threat, but publicly known all around the world saw the assassination. This is why, okay, this thing is so compatible for breeding a person with this when you want them to be publicly assassinated. Notice what I said. Breeding a person who you want them to be publicly assassinated. Now, because he's eclipse child, very difficult to point to, oh, this person will be born under eclipse. Perhaps you need two parents that were born, that were eclipse children. Although, yes, I don't know the chart of my all lineage or even immediate lineage to the detail, but this pre-eclipse child, no, actually, yes, none of my parents is eclipse child and I'm a pre-eclipse child. Which is, I understand exactly why I was born pre-eclipse and exactly why I was born outside of known cults or hidden secret societies, immediate involvement with my chart. But here, this is a person that the minute they are born, they are targeted. The minute they are born, because within these societies, a child is born, but they would have public show. I'm going to refer you once again to the episode in Water Expands Upon Cooling, where I talked about the cold case for Peterche Och, I think, which is, I think the son of the Vries had the father's books, and one of them is A Murder Costs More Lives. I myself have tried to reach this, so when I know where the link is, I don't want to bother the family. They are going through a lot, and I have to say they still perfected more. But if I find a link to get this book, I highly recommend to read that. This is very important for anybody who deals with political assassination and expendable children. It's very likely a must read. The episode itself, we'll try to link for it, is a must watch. I don't care that it's in Dutch, okay? It's a must watch. You need to understand the content of what you're dealing with and how complicated it is. So what I'm saying, I'm basing on that. The minute a child is born with such a constellation, okay, public, unusual assassination attempt, immediately with this person, maybe he will be politician, maybe he would be a musician, but very likely politician, because public assassination is something that affects society at large, and immediately there would be desire to control for this person, but this person is an eclipse child. Now, another inside knowledge, because there was a lot of magic on done trying to target me this eclipse cycle. The more the more people, I'm quoting Emma from the Imagination podcast, the more people try to target you around these things, the more you're like, oh, I guess I'm not just John Doe. Okay, I guess I am somebody. If all of them try to get me, so I guess I am somebody. So it backfires, simply put. But the incessant attempts to do sacrifice of people and black sun rituals and whatnot are incessant. And so for a person like Donald Trump, an eclipse child, these are people that go through a lot of such attempts where they are targeted. They might at adulthood try to do such rituals because if you are targeted to be a leader, and mind you, this is targeted to be a leader. It's not elected. And there are various attempts to control this person because they're trying to control for the sun. They're trying to control for something that they cannot control. Eclipse children, Trump himself cannot control for what is fate, for what is destiny. So you're trying to control. My God, I'm not in a political opinion of Trump or anything like that. But when there were a moment of testimonial, when there were around eclipses, so many attempts to target me for the Black Sun rituals, and again, it's not that I know these people, it's just because there are secret societies, my chart is out there, I'm pre-eclipse child. It's like, oh, let's sacrifice this person instead of that person. Or people, they see events that I don't see. I don't have like 29 ascendant, but I don't see that. But they see events, so they try to mess with my future. And I said, when I tend to this psychic stuff, I was saying, you try to control for something that I myself have surrendered, my fate. This is so relevant to Mr. Trump. You're trying to control, and I want you to understand, whoever you are, when you see eclipse child, when you try to control for something that they themselves have surrendered, whether he does something weird, he says something weird, he acts in a weird way, okay? What he does, you cannot control. He cannot control what he does. It doesn't mean he's no accountability or no this or no that. It's not the point. It's his life journey. But when you try to control for something that the person themselves have surrendered, you are incessantly putting power in the hands of this person that they themselves have surrendered how they will use. Okay? That's it. Don't try to control Trump. Try to control your destinies. Try to control your destinies. I knew this was going to be unexpected. It doesn't affect Trump. It's just fated events where he just, by now, how old is he? The age of my parents. Older than my parents. Born 1946. Pluto Leo, beginning of Leo, 10 degrees Leo. You think by now he doesn't know what's going to happen? You think by now he doesn't know how to respond, how to manage even these situations? You don't like what he do? Okay, let's do something different. And this is what I just watch. This is just giving popcorn. You don't like what Trump does? Do something different. Do something about your life, about your destiny. He's here to do what he's here to do. And he himself has surrendered for what is life path. For you might think it's funny, but it's a different type of existence. So, and this is important to understand about eclipse people. It's very important to understand this. Because Trump has the 2030 eclipse cycle, okay, Rahu, Gemini, Ketu, Sagittarius, he's highly targeted. As a fellow Rahu, very close to Aldebaran, Ketu, very close to Antares. I'm not a tight eclipse child, I'm a pre-eclipse child. So people still try to mess with my direction, with my future, with my this. I myself have surrendered this. So now let's talk about political assassination. Okay, we look what planet, what house. What is the ruler of the house? It's not Chinese. And you know what? Even Chinese, I saw a YouTuber that teaches Chinese, and the meaning of the words is more simple than English, because they call the word what it is. They don't have 100 words for a thing. It's the writing, the symbols. It's difficult, but the language, not. Also astrology, okay? You have to study signs, their rulers. You're already one step up from everybody. Signs, houses, and their rulers. I think Astrology Podcast still has free videos of the entire thing. Lots of water jokes. Okay? It's gonna fix your mind. Free, accessible for everyone. So what planet, which they also have, what planet, what sign, what house, what the ruler is. Now, this is given the personal planet. Then, I always look what outer planet. Okay, so for personal planets, we got Mercury, Venus, Sun, Moon, Mars, Jupiter in between, because it's taken 12 years to surround the zodiac. Okay, personal means fast moving. And Saturn, 28 years to surround the zodiac. That's the traditional planet that is the closest to outer planets. Then we have Uranus, Pluto, Neptune, and Aries. So those bunch, they are giving the what is that associated with. Okay, and the outer planets are giving us for the political reasons. First of all, Pluto is highly associated. So let's go to another chart. Let's go to my chart, because my chart is so classic for political assassination that it's dumbfounding. You wouldn't think that, but it's true. Yes, how do I go to my chart? My private astro database. And look at this. My chart has 22 retrograde Saturn in 9th house Scorpio. So first of all, 22 retrograde Mars. First of all, Mars is at home. You don't have to look for the ruler. Then 9th house. Why? Where? How? So Mars is guns or sharp objects, or poison can also be. 9th house, academia, religious institutions, international travel. Okay, if I travel internationally. Okay. What it rules over? For 9th house, 2nd house, my income, self-value, my skills, how I make my money, how I spend my money. So Mars retrograde is not so good for initiate. So if I was, for example, to do mass assassination, not good. But if I have to respond, I bless you with not ever having to put my life in danger. Okay? It scares me. I don't like this. I have Sun, Venus in Taurus. I like peace. But also rules for my income. Okay? So this is thanks you to the Sun of Peter the Vries. He has Sun on my Mars 22, and he's ruling also his second house. And I was like, damn, to make money, I need to tend to the 22. Not just to make money. This Mars rules my entire chart. But it's not a ruler of my ascendant, but it's ruling my entire chart. So you see, I cannot not make money. I cannot not work. I live on welfare. I still cannot not. Even if you take all the money, if you don't work a day in your life. I say, yeah, but I need to do something with myself. Okay? So this is one good thing. It gives me a sense of meaning and purpose. But if my job, it doesn't give me a sense of meaning and purpose, I feel dead. But if I tend to the dead, I get meaning and purpose. So first of all, I want to share with you experience when I looked at my last couple of Water Expands Upon Cooling episodes, where I actually looked at cold cases. Of course, naturally from misdaad geslastiger, how I started, and where the creator has the Sun to my Mars, so it's best for me to look at that and begin there. Then I have had healing experiences of receiving healing from mediumship, from the dead, supporting, guiding my work. And I received, there were a lot of attempts to, like, at first, before I began to do Water Expands Upon Cooling, it's like, hey, live your life, live this, live that. And then I explained myself, I explained for what is the issue of what I'm dealing with and so on. And then I received a ton of support and healing for the process and guidance for the process. Because yes, it's a topic, okay? It's one heck of a topic. And yes, I'm not getting too deep into those things right now, but through tending to that, I received so much well-being that is, and humor and many, many things. But this Mars also rules over Saturn, which is ruler of 12th house and 11th house. So for my values, for someone who is hidden enemy or from way outside, okay, from or through dreams, or to try to psychic attack or something like that, trying to make my fears manifest, 12 degrees degree of manifestation, through 11th house, with something I said, social media. I had a couple of assassination attempts because of social media, and I didn't understand until after I set the person back. And this person is, they get into troubles when they try that, because they're different. If they come from the cult, it's a big problem. So yes, I bless you too with not being a person that has to come for me. So that can be for the reasoning, the why, and it rules over Pluto. Now, I mean, Pluto square. Now we got something more than the personal. There is the what I say, what I think, how I say it. I don't know, somebody wants to get under the sheets with me, but it's not working, so I try to make my fears manifest, or, it's all this kind of personal dump shit. But then there is an outer planet, which Pluto is taboo topics, secret beliefs, secret societies, and political assassination. But this is me being a part of an intergenerational topic. What's to do maybe around sexuality, around advocating for children. See, Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter in detriment. Saturn can also mean death, so expandable children. For the satanic ritual abuse, Saturn, Scorpio, satanic ritual abuse of children, Jupiter, that rules me, rules my ascendant. That rules my midheaven. That's also ruling my 10th house, one of the parents. Means one of the parents not tried to assassinate me, but was subjected to that, very likely as well. Okay, so now that you have this Pluto, you understand this is classical political assassination case. Mars retrograde, this is why I was born into this world. I didn't understand what the hell have I not died yet. Feeling related to it, like, does it resonate, anyone? Okay, because this Mars 22 is to assassin the assassin. It is what it is. I'm pre-eclipse chart. Again, as I myself have surrendered. Okay. So, I'm not with the retrograde. It means I'm not going to come for you. Yes, but there's no reason. Well, and again, I have Venus in Taurus. I have Sun in Taurus. I have, yes, Moon on Sirius. Moon on Sirius. Okay, very amiable, sociable, a bit fixed. Yes, but not an enemy. Okay, when I go about my day, I'm not pretty. I'm not enemy. It's just that I care about what's right. It's true. That's my problem. Okay. And my Uranus is bringing the tower and everywhere I go. So again, if you want me to work hard, I make money from dead people that were assassinated, or from assassination, or from assassination prevention. But my way of making money has to be associated with this 22 Mars. There's no way for me to get around this topic. That if I'm going to work and make money, some people will no longer be with us. And either preferably those who tried to assassinate. So Saturn rules also homeless people. Now you can look at this Mars as defender of people who are in hospital, political prisoners, okay, Aquarius, scientists, astrologers, okay, the ethical ones, mental health doctors or mental health professional, those who are, again, ethical ones. People who have endured poverty because they are outside of the norm is defender of. People from faraway lands. Children, Mercury in the second house. Children and housing. children, lawyers, real estate, partnerships, but also bridging for with enemies, open enemies. But this Pluto, defender of people who went through satanic ritual abuse, defending of people who have agenda that is in favor of humanity. Saturn rules over Capricorn. Oh, yes. Neptune, defender of spies, missing people, whistleblowers. All the things I've been doing last year. People with good imagination, channelers, healers. People are known after their death. I've received so much from people like Feynman, like Peter, that are known after their death. Peter I met after a couple of months after he died. And it happens to me every once in a while. It is so. I would see the person sometimes that the person just died, and I was like, oh, who is this person? So, oh shit, RIP all over the comments on YouTube. Okay. Pluto Scorpio. That is, I'm in the square, Pluto Scorpio, but it's given, of course, energy. Atomic veterans, the relation between atomic veterans to satanic ritual abuse. And I have a mystic rectangle, highly protective. Bisextile with Lilith. Lilith soul moon. I'm not going to try to use my sexuality to hurt you, but I bless you with not having to be the person that tries to groom me sexually into something that's not for my well-being. True Lilith, by the way, yes, in the beginning of Aries. Okay, so you see a person like this. Of course, there are many people that would try to divert of what they try to do because the defender of all these people. But so many things. Okay. First of all, this Mars responds. It's a Mars that I can go, and I'm ascendant Pisces. I can go feel, no, what is the meaning and purpose of life? Oh, what is the meaning? I don't feel alive in this job. I don't know. But what should I do? But what should I do something? And then I tend to that 22 Mars, so something comes up. That is usually live. A 22 thing of origin, and I come alive. Okay, so this is when we talk about prevention of political assassination. I think this is the most ethical way for me to make money and to have teachings, and Mars Ninth House's teachings. But this is all the many things. Okay, and all the reason why I was so targeted, and I was like, oh, what do they want from me, this Pisces fish that swims? Not even like a whale or a shark, a small sardine wins. That's how I felt, like a sardine in the ocean. But you take this sardine and you poke at this sardine, and this says, well, God bless you. And then you poke at this sardine and you says, okay, then you poke at this sardine, and then they might fear that they die, and then the whole world collapses upon your psyche. You don't even know how is that related. You don't even know it's related to that sardine. That sardine had no idea what happened because they were like, oh, well, the flow of the water is just free. Now, if you were the sardine that tried to poke at a sardine, you're representing a web of people that try to target children. What can I say? You know? Repent. Again, Pisces answer, repent. Cross over. I don't know, take some MDMA, maybe this will be a near-death experience. We have some, okay? I don't know what to say. But that being said, I'm also tending to these topics being very aware that I'm not putting the finger of blame on anyone, but rather, okay, how can we like viewing the phenomena and then tending to the phenomena. So when it comes to prevention of political assassination, the remedies are a remedy of a line in general. The reason I'm not afraid to give remedies to people, because like, oh, maybe you're remediating the assassination of a person who is mass killer, or who is mass this, who is mass that, and so on. I'm like, well, the remediation, it works with alignment. For example, when, first of all, some of them will happen to you naturally. It's not like everybody will point a gun at you every day, unless it's like third house. So we've seen that happening. And so, yes, remedies. So for me, the remedy, let's say for, I talked about Feynman in another episode, and also about the freeze, that has Sun to my Mars, and the lights up the whole chart. It's literally showing me the everything of how is that related. So engaging with the content, taking the cold cases from there. When I do these teachings, charity, giving free teachings on the 22nd degree is appropriate. Astrological teachings also remediates my 12th house, okay, is appropriate. And you see, charity is one form of remediation. We have it whether we go to magicians like Christopher Warnock, who do it Renaissance astrology way, or to Lada Duncheva, or to Indian astrology or Vedic astrology. Okay, charity is always appropriate. My modus operandi is very, very light, especially because you're gonna need that. Okay, you're gonna need something that's very simple, setting intentions and so on. So here, 9th house is teachings. So sharing free teachings is good 22 degree charity. It's also for what, yes, for what to make my money, but which I still don't know how, but it is will have to be associated ethically. And that is where remediation comes from. Another form of remediation is coming from Nikola Stojanovic, rest in peace, and that is to take the energy and put something there. So, for example, when I work with particularly the synastry for Peter R. de Vries, he has Sun 22 Scorpio. Okay, so when I watch his show, or when I engage with his content, especially where in the places where I need to be, when I was in Netherlands, where the relocation charts puts my 4th house ruled by this 22 Mars, which means my housing, I was engaging with his content. It just happened to me in life. Okay, I didn't intend for this, but this was constant engagement. I was channeling as well with somebody that has the energy of the 22. It was not my time to die, so that was appropriate, that was allowed, And that caused alignment because that gave me all kinds of informations about what we're dealing with today. And I want to show you a part of what we are dealing with today. And this is a Hebrew message I got from the Ministry of Internal Affairs in Immigration. It says, my name and hello, the ID that you have will no longer be valid by the end of 2025, by the end of January 2025. And then by law, you won't be able to do any use of your ID or receive anything. If you want to have ID, you have to have appointment, okay, in this place. And so it says it doesn't cost money unless you lost your ID. Okay. I was targeted at a restaurant for to give my ID to police people came because my ID is old and not biometric. So this is a part of for these things that we do. Okay, it's a part of what's happening. One of the greatest omens or symbols I got from Peter Che was exactly this biometric thingy. So what to do about this? I will receive more things and I will share with you. And by the way, the symbol for the misdaad geslaviger, solving cold cases, was the face of Peter and the biometric fingerprint. And I received it all over when I was in the Netherlands. But again, I did not know who the person is, except that it was crime journalist. And it took me time to understand that belongs to that. So for those of you who read omens in channeling, that was a very, very funny situation. But it's still accompanying, it's like, hey, that thing is kind of coming up. But, you know, there are so many cold cases for misdaad geslaviger alone. Let's solve them with the biometric stuff. So, how many dead people got offshore business in Japan? Rob a bank, perhaps knows. So, yeah. This is so meta. Now that we addressed political assassinations, so the remedy can be holding a chart that points in for this energy to take it to the chart, especially when the person is not alive anymore, so you're not sacrificing anyone. This is important because sacrifice is not ethical. It backfires. This is why Luciferians that do sacrifice, or people, indigenous people that do human sacrifice, it gives so much war, so much trauma, but it's not necessary. Okay, you can put hibiscus tea and so on. Those who have natural menstrual blood, and you have to know what you do, because that's another topic. And in general, for what we call the exchange relations with the gods, I have a word to say about this. Yes, it's good to think about receptivity and to honor or to give reverence and so on, because just to be, you know, friendly. But also important to remember that sometimes you turn to the gods when you don't have anything to give, especially if Western society discover them, we don't have anything to give. Then you receive. And so the channeling of the gods, they will give you stuff that's useful for you. And then when you're able to give, then for your giving is usually something that is promoting you in a way. Okay? For example, Apollo could ask you to write a song. Venus asked me to draw flowers. Okay, and the Jupiter, you give away and it comes back to you. Okay, learning and learning to be honest about when I feel like I'm able to give, when I feel I'm not able to give. Moon, giving housing away, giving cars, giving, because it's traveling, okay, transportation as well. It's not cars like Venus, but it is means of getting somewhere. And those are all charities that you can do. So those are all things that you learn, that is natural, to work with the planets, with the gods, and reciprocal relations where you're safe. If you are in a situation where coerced to do a human sacrifice, then you know, or where your thoughts are governed, and so on and so forth. Setting intention is a big deal. Please, I want you to know something. This is something I learned from Peter. It's not as easy to assassinate you as you think it is. Okay, that's also your chart. It's not as easy to divert you from your life as you think it is. Okay? There are many points, but this is already mine, there are many points of interferences for your intention, for your manifestation, for you to practice something for the light way. And the more you tend to it, the more it's accessible to you, the more you can receive of that. And yes, and you have my blessing for if you need to get out of such situations, or such cults, or such circumstances. Everything in your life that you didn't even imagine possible, there is healing for. Okay, for whatever your path allows. And because we don't really know what your path allows, even for Trump, we don't know what is perfected. Maybe it's perfected for miracles. We don't know. I know astrology, I know graphs. There is always certain things that, yes, I want to say to person, okay, this is so, this is so. And sometimes it's kind of like a more fatigue or stoic approach. And this is not playing God. It's actually useful for some people to prepare to certain events. Okay. And this is one of the things that we do. That being said, I am not the God of your life. Okay? No one is. So, in whichever way, for what you see fit, that to open, to move the energy, to open for the energy, and to defend yourself, not by targeting specific people. One of the things so that I think differs for, let's say, the satanic. I'm not saying the light satanic, which is just karma and Saturn and so on. I'm talking about like satanic abuse and stuff like that. Is because maybe you're taught to respond in a way that is to torture people, or to put them through things that, like, they don't die, but they don't live, but they don't this. Exactly that. Okay. Learning of ways to protect yourself, to set a boundary. If you have to kill someone, kill someone. If somebody's putting your life at risk, it's like, I would die if that happens, then you have to fight for your life, okay? But to put, let's say, torture, or to do this or to do that, or to take your vengeance on a person, is something that I don't recommend. And the specificity of it, this is what I think make for it satanic abuse, because when you said to sender, back to sender, known or unknown, known and unknown, you send basically energy. And you allow alchemy. You allow whoever known or unknown sent you this, you allow alchemy. But when you begin to target specific people, it usually includes a lot of torture on them. Now, the less you can do this, the less you do of this, the more things open up for you. And the more you do of the things that are protective of you in a good way, the more wealth open up to you. Now that we had Mars on our goal. So, again, I hope this is going to be useful for those to whom this episode reaches. And I hope that and when we come to protect from political assassination or from assassination, this is also if you're, let's say, domestic violence survivor or something like that, which we had in our lineage. 10 to the 22. Okay, where is the 22 in my chart? How am I addressing this degree? I'm not avoiding this degree. Some women are needing to accept the title warrior, not for to carry it like, how should I say it? Not to bring excess energy of that, but to integrate, okay? Because Archangel Michael is great for the 22. Archangel Michael, fantastic. Aldebaran with Archangel Michael and Christ consciousness, if you work with Christ consciousness. Mint essential oil, fantastic. But also, it calls for you to tend to that 22. It calls for you to tend to that. It can take time to understand it, to accept it. It's not about avoiding the 22. It's about navigating the energy for what is the best way, the benefic way for you to navigate this energy, okay? So when you see multiple or one or two 22 energies, okay, utilize them, use them, navigate the energy correctly in favor of yourself, in favor of humanity, and then you will have more of good relations or whatever it is, yes, that you are tending to. This Mars rules the ruler of my 4th and 7th house, okay? So I feel you on this. I feel you on this. And I've been asked by certain survivors where it's safe for me to live. So yes, there are certain places where the 22 degree would be more here or more there. With your natal chart is the basis for what you look at, and your natal chart keeps playing out. Your natal chart doesn't disappear. When I was in Netherlands, I was seeing footages from Israel, because Israel was the abroad. So the 9th from the natal chart still plays when I was abroad. But you also have a relocational chart. So yes, relocational chart is just going to put a juxtaposition on the natal chart. So relocational chart is important, but when it comes to where it's safe for me to live, 22 degree, okay, assassination related, then there's always going to be, for political assassination, for those of you who travel a lot, please check the relocation chart, because the remedy for the 22nd degree is going to be different in different places. Okay? Very important. For the charts remedy, carrying a composite, carrying a synastry is okay. Where will you carry it? What will you do with it? This changes with the relocation chart. You need a astrocartographer that knows parents. I still don't know this parents thing. And that, that was sweet when I was thinking of just like, oh, I have something in the broad level, maybe I could give some readings like that. But when it comes to the readings that I got, of course, it was very safe for me to leave, because this Mars 22 is ruling housing and partnerships. So this is life or death issue. I did not feel comfortable to answer that. But now that we talk, if you come to me with your parents' chart, that they give you the information, okay, then perhaps we can look at those charts, your natal and your relocational, of where you will be staying. Now, if you go through flying above a couple of countries, for those flying bombardier of us, that was so relevant for Julian, but is fortunately safe now. If you're flying over, you want to be checking what the relocational charts that you will be flying over, especially if you are, something like Julian Assange. Okay, when Julian was released from Belmarsh, then it was flying to some, what is Spain, Spain? I don't know what it was. And then from there to Australia, then it was he couldn't fly commercial because it was a risk of assassination. Okay, and so a good practice would be for wherever he's within the bombardier, okay, whatever is crossing a certain path, to look for the parents and to look for the relocational chart for these places and to have the remedies ready. Now you can carry talisman like Al-Qaeda for Christopher Warnock to protect from assassination. Okay, I'm open to getting dividends from that, or if you want to buy me a talisman like that, I'm appreciative. So Al-Qaeda would be very appropriate. There are other uses of Al-Qaeda, like processing grief, and I delved very deeply into that and other episodes. But for protection from assassination, Al-Qaeda, Al-Ghul is excellent. Al-Ghul, again, any remediation is about with Al-Qaeda, is processing grief. Abolishing slavery is big with Al-Qaeda. I need to do an episode about this. So Al-Ghul Beta per se is a powerful protection talisman, because you tend to powerful things. Okay, for the story of Medusa Gorgon. Okay, Andromeda, powerful protection, because you tend to these things. So this is something to keep in mind. The remedies work by energy, by inner processes that we go through. It's not just, oh, I take this stone and it will be, you take this stone. What is this stone? It's a crystal. What crystals do? Go to Mark Bayersky channel to see what crystals do. See what crystals do. That energy and your energy, that changes your life. Why? Because you something happens in this encounter. Okay? For you order a talisman, you will see your life beginning to transform while you're preparing, you're meeting an energy. When I'm doing astrology, remember my episode where I share what it's like to do this work that I do. Do you know, I think, what was it, a week ago, that I wasn't online. Before the assassination of Trump, it was the game of Netherlands. There was thunder and all that joyous energy. And then I felt like, oh, I need to take a break. For a whole week, I was just doing, and also when I was recording What Expands Upon Cooling, okay, so many downloads, so many things to process. In this process, I'm not available for my friends, and sometimes even my family. Yes, I visited my family, but sometimes even my family. I'm not available on the phone. I don't go, of course, to work, okay? It's very deep, it's very big work. Okay, it's very big mission. So again, when you tend to that, you have a calling, but I want you to understand what this entails. I'm basically alchemizing. I'm living right now in what people call outcaring, but in Israel it's welfare. Okay, we know Israel is funded by Rothschild, and we know for the problematic issues. But what I'm doing right now is basically alchemizing the energy of the money by tending to expandable children, political assassinations, housing first, the healthcare. Okay, Rockefeller, he made his big money with big pharma, patenting plants and stuff like that. Okay, I'm alchemizing this. So of course I live on outcaring. I live on welfare for that money that I get, what I do with that, and energy, day in, day out, all the time, alchemizing for this energy and giving it those teachings and doing this magic, thereby avoiding political assassinations. This is why I was so targeted, because I'm basically the go-to person for of the people that intercept what the bad things of 2030. Every once in a while, they have this plan to destroy humanity and enslave humanity. I'm with the people that I know this. Okay, I'm going to share that I think I shared this when I was studying filmmaking. I began to write a sketch for a screenplay named Far-Fetched. And that was, back then, I was very naive, so you will laugh, of two FBI agents, or not naive, that see a program that has a plan for committing world war. I was channeling. I didn't know that. I thought I was writing a script. And then one of the lines that I said, when they talked about the Holocaust, because I'm lineage of Holocaust survivors too, not only, but yes, for this was talking about the 6 million and so on. It was like, well, 200 million Russians died at the Second World War. I'm sorry for your loss. So there's the way where each tribe will focus on their own tribe. It's our democide, it's our genocide, it's our this, it's our that. They plan to do this to the world. For when I was studying academia, actually the person that I would have the complicated dynamic, yes, the Me Too case with, was also when they were teaching world wars, teaching the whole world, the cases of genocide. Okay? Not this thing or that thing or the local thing that keeps you in your own tribal mindset. Your tribal mindset is killing you, is demociding you. And this, we the people have to know. All of this show, you know what I said on one of my jokes, and I don't know if it's true or not true. When I say, oh, the Free Palestine, the Mossad B'Tukufiyas. Okay, of course it's not Mossad because the intelligence is global. Just like we'll say, the CIA tried to assassinate Assange. Not CIA, because it's global. Assange exposed that it's global, but he cannot say that. It's the CIA. Okay? But this is so much invested to put on these shows. Yes, of course, you need to free the Palestinian people. They need to stop taking tribalism. They need to stop locking the people that went through mental crisis like the crazy. They need to stop infanticide. They need to stop child weddings. And then more options open up, like Mandela. Nelson Mandela did a lot to abolish apartheid by both learning from who is these people that try to get at us. Let's see what they have to bring us. And oh, bloodline segregation. Yeah, we've been practicing that tribally. Let's stop that fucking bullshit and limit, decentralize the royalty within African society. Okay, it doesn't matter for the color of his skin. He just got what needs to be done. This is Procyon, yet son of Procyon. JFK, another Procyon person. The best way to win a war is to avoid it, and JFK was about to warn us that, again, that trying to enslave us. So every once in a while, there's this, oh, let's just bring the entire humanity into a big crisis. And for some people, they were like, yeah, it will cause enlightenment. And some people were like, yeah, we need slaves. And whatever the reasoning is happening every once in a while. Now they try to do it again. And again, people like Shinzo Abe or Peter, but they try to go against, maybe even Trump, because they can't control him, and so on. And the minute somebody says anything about expandable children, even if it's just in Islam, then the kidnapping for head kidnapping from Mr. Wilders. So this is true that those things happen. And for what the antidote is, of course, to get these things, but of course, the people that born and came to this life to represent, at least represent, another option. Of course, they are pre-eclipsed children, most of them. Peter was not eclipsed child. And of course, the attempts to target or try to control what we ourselves surrendered, that is our fate. And so, again, this is what we came to do at this time. I was joking with myself, and when I joke with myself, joking, your humor is great channeler. Your sense of humor is a great channeler. And I was saying, I was at the Dead Sea. It was, I think, before 7th October even. I said, well, the good news is that you came to the world where the world is changing. But the bad news is that you are the people who bring about this change. And so, yes, we are the people that bring about this change. And this is why we incarnated here, or what we came to experience here. Ketu very close to Antares, Rahu incredibly close to Aldebaran, in orb. It's in orb for Aldebaran. Archangel Michael. So, but for you, if you've suffered risk for your life, very likely you have the 22. Different levels of fate. Some of us have certain fate associated with this. Most public figures that you see have fate associated with this. Okay? Most of the things have fate associated with this. Even if not eclipse child. Rahu, Ketu, if your ruler of Rahu is 22, if your Rahu is 22, okay, if I see that, so some cold cases, some living people, but what fate it is also means that when it's not your time, it's not your time. Whatever they will try, if it's not your time, it's not your time. Okay? And so there's something you came here to bring, and you will bring that thing. For remediation is to make your life easier, to make it more facilitated, to tend to that energy. For different charts, different things. Can I do a reading about this? Yes, you are welcome to schedule reading for me about this. Right now, what I will accept for you is to buy me talisman. Okay, I want to contribute to the astrological community. I get a lot of information absolutely for free. And so when we talk, or might be a course, or might be talisman, so I can give back to the astrological community that has given me so much information that right now you can see is even life-saving. And so, yes, it's possible. My PayPal is also my email. It's madeittolovemagic1@gmail.com. I will put it in the comments. And yes, it's possible to attempt to schedule a reading. Now, because of the nature of my work, you have to understand I might not be able to be easy with the scheduling. If fated to meet you, fated to give you reading, it will be happening. If not fated, it will not be happening, okay? So I will not charge you for canceling. Very important. I give you the same freedom that I ask for myself, but also you must understand we try and we see. And if I'm the correct person to give you for this information, correct timing, then yes. If not, then not, and it's possible that might not be easy to appoint. Okay, I offer this because it's potential to be, well, not life-saving in the sense that, yeah, but more like life-saving in the sense that your lived experience might be dramatically improved when you tend to that, which you didn't tend to, which is the 22nd degree. Not from a point of trying to avoid, but from a point of trying to improve upon your life and to navigate this energy. So if that's something you feel called to do, that's possible. Yes, so I will be seeing you in another video. I think I said most of what I had to say. Powerful, powerful experiences. Now that Mars is separating from the 22nd degree. Oh, look! Ascendant 22. Mercury hour. Oh, this is so beautiful. I'm going to release that now. Thank you.